Today, a strange product, maybe one of the nicest editions of the RWS that US Games Systems have ever put out, which comes along with maybe the worst little white book I have ever read. It's not exactly news that US Game Systems brought out a celebratory centennial edition of the RWS to celebrate 100 years since the first edition. So that was in 2009. That came as a collector's pack, a sort of a box with lots of lovely goodies in it. And then they decided to bring out just the deck alone without the goodies. And this is what we have. I got this one first. They made a borderless edition. I was very excited about that. And I still like it very much. The feature of this particular release is that they put a sort of a tea stain patina, didn't they, over the cards, a sort of a slightly sepia wash. So they've calmed down these offensive blues and yellows which seem to frighten people so much. They never frighten me. But as you can see here, you know, that's not white, is it? That's brown. And, you know, if we compare it to a 90s edition, it looks a bit more like that. I mean, the thing about the Centennial edition is that it can get a bit dark on the dark cards. Now, my 90s edition has actually faded with time. But you can see that that tower is a lot less brown, isn't it? But no, I mean, I like this very much. The tea-stained Centennial version. And I liked it without the borders. It seemed very modern and so forth. And so I very excitedly got myself the borderless edition in bridge size. And that became my go-to deck for a while. But then I decided that it was really too dark and I stopped using it. And eventually I realised that at least as far as my copy was concerned, that the full-size edition was actually slightly less dark than the bridge size, which was a lovely discovery. So I now use my full-size borderless edition. And then I decided to be a bit of a devil and get myself the edition in a tin, which is not borderless, ladies and gentlemen. It's got a slightly different back to it. It's got a lighter version of that, and it's got the borders. So you get the full white, you get the full glory of the sepia tint on the white, and you get a slightly smaller card. I think these tint editions are absolutely lovely. I think there's a lovely Aquarian tint edition. There's a lovely tinned Morgan Greer, and the cards, they're small, but they're not so tiny that you can't shuffle them. So the one I'm reviewing today is this one, the one in the tin. It comes highly recommended, and for a number of reasons. I think after a while one gets tired of these borderless editions, and one gets a bit sort of suspicious of them because they're not really authentic. What do I mean by that? This is the authentic Pamela Coleman Smith design, and that's the borderless edition. But as you can see, to make it borderless, they basically had to add bits. So if you look at this bit of foliage here, it's bigger than this bit. And that bit, look, it's got extra bits on the edge, bigger than that. And you get that all through the deck. So basically, you know, it's some nerd in the 21st century adding bits of fake Pamela Coleman Smith. And actually, frankly, if you venerate tarot as much as I do, and if you see tarot as a chance to kind of have a glorious communing with the past, you want things to be authentic, and you don't want people mucking around with it too much. So I've come back to this one. I now think this one is the best. As you can see, it doesn't have the problem of the bridge size edition. It's not super dark. This is a bit grey, isn't it? But this is quite chirpy. There's two more. It's partly because you have the border, which is a bit lighter, but this area is lighter than that area. So it's a bit brighter. And I'm really into it. So I will give you a little bit of a walkthrough, just so that you can enjoy it. Okay, here you go. Now, the reason why I'm making this video at all, because, I mean, I know this is not really news, is it? That another edition of the RWS has come out, and you can probably find lots of reviews of this deck online. I mean, I don't talk about my collection of RWS decks very much. I will make a video about all the RWSs I possess, because I'm actually in the process of buying a real Albano Waite from 1968 on eBay, which is extremely exciting. So when that comes in, I'll show you all the RWSs I've got. But the reason why I wanted to just make a quick news flash of a video about this one is because of the little white book. US Game Systems, aka Stuart Kaplan, bought the rights to the RWS, didn't they? And then they published it. This is a very contested story. People say they never really had the rights anyway. And if you Google it and look on Wikipedia and so forth, you will find the story of US Game Systems going to court with Lo Scarabeo in Italy, because Lo Scarabeo said, you don't actually own the rights to the cards. You just, own the rights to the back of the cards that you put on. So there was a big court case, and Lo Scarabeo won, and so now Lo Scarabeo have been publishing the RWS for many years. But there was always this kind of feeling that US Game Systems sort of owned the RWS. If you look on the side of this tin, it's a bit tiresome, isn't it? Because it says, the deck created by Pamela Coleman Smith. And then Pamela Coleman Smith has a little registered trademark sign by her name. And you think, oh, do US Game Systems, are they claiming they actually own her name completely? And no one else is allowed to say the words Pamela Coleman Smith. Okay, joking aside, so Stuart Kaplan has become, or became, because I think he's passed away now, he became the sort of RWS proprietor, and he had a very large collection of Pamela Coleman Smith abilia. And he recently, before he died, he brought out that huge book about Pam with all her illustrations, which I reviewed recently, and very nice too. As far as I know, he has published a thing called the Encyclopedia of Tarot in several volumes. So you think to yourself, this guy must be the ultimate tarot curator. He must know everything. What's weird is this book is full of the most elementary mistakes. And I wonder, did he just stop reading about tarot after a certain point, sometime in the 70s? We have an introduction here by Stuart R. Kaplan, and it says that this introduction was revised in December 2014. I'm not going to go into this in detail, but the introduction is full of nonsense. And he's clearly not up to date with the 21st century research about tarot. He starts off by saying the precise origin of tarot cards in antiquity remains obscure. Well, tarot cards don't have their origin in antiquity anyway. They have their origin in the Renaissance. And then he quotes a couple of silly myths. Coeur de Gébelin advances the theory that tarot cards derived from an ancient Egyptian book, the Book of Thoth. So he quotes the sort of discredited theories. And then he starts to talk as if he's now talking history. And he says, it is generally accepted that playing cards emerged in Europe in the latter half of the 14th century, probably first in Italy as a complete 78-card deck. Well, it is actually not generally accepted that happened. It is generally accepted that playing cards emerged as a 52-card deck. And then about 50 years after that, probably someone added the major arcana and the four knights. And then he quotes another discredited theory. There exists today in the archives of the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris 17 major arcana cards generally believed, probably erroneously, to have been hand-painted about the year 1392. Well, that is erroneous because tarot originated in the 15th century. And it just goes on like this. He says, as playing increased in popularity, the major arcana cards were dropped, except for the Fool, which was retained as the Joker. And this is also, really not how it happened. Playing cards and tarot cards had parallel lives. And even if you look into it carefully, it has even been disproved that the Fool is connected to the Joker in the playing cards. There is no connection. They are two different things. And we could talk about that in more detail later. That's what he says about history. And then he gives you, or at least the booklet gives you, keywords. And they are just a complete mishmash of all the keywords that have sort of accrued to tarot over the centuries. And there's no angle. So this is the kind of little white book that will drive anyone out of their mind. So, for example, for the Empress, you have fruitfulness, initiative, action, long delays, clandestine, the unknown, difficulty, doubt, ignorance. So you've got fruitfulness and difficulty there. So for the Magician, you've got skill, diplomacy, address, sickness, pain, loss, disaster. And these are upright meanings. And then, the reverse meanings are even worse. The Hierophant, marriage, alliance, captivity, servitude, mercy and goodness, inspiration. The Chariot, upright meanings, succor, providence, war, triumph, presumption, vengeance, trouble. What I want to say is that these clusters of meanings are in fact entirely obsolete. They have been overtaken by time. I don't think anyone in their right mind in the 21st century would accept them as ways to read tarot cards. Tarot has really evolved into something completely different. So how this managed to be released in 2009 and updated in 2014 and still contain all this guff is beyond me. But anyway, I do recommend the deck very much. I actually think if you were going to have one deck, and if you were going to be stuck on a desert island with no possibility of ever getting another deck, I would advise this one. The tins would protect it from, lions and tigers and salty sea water. And the cards themselves are absolutely great. Lovely cardstock, lovely image reproduction. So thank you, US Game Systems. Those were my thoughts about the Smith-Waite Tarot Deck Centennial Edition. See you next week.